particle board. And one of the sheets snapped in half and flew off behind him. And half of it landed on the road, and I ran over it. And the other half was just like, you know how things that have a lot of surface area fall slow but fast? Because they like do that. They catch the wind, and then they fall quickly. It was like just trying to slam into my windshield.
Good
And so I was just swerving right and left, looking like a monkey the whole time. And I just avoided it, and then he pulled over.
Did you die? All right, roll the intro.
Evening, officer. Is something wrong?
Just keep your hands where I can see them. Routine traffic stop. We got reports of someone driving under the influence. You know anything about that?
No, I'm only under one influence.
What's that?
The influence of Jesus.
It's time for Under the Influence.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
All right, we're recording.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, guys? It's Jude. Welcome back to another episode of Under the Influence. I'm one of your hosts, Jude Crane, joined by your favorite two co-hosts,
Levi.
and
Jerry.
Jerry.
Dude, I wish they could have seen your face while you were doing that. You
It's a
look
visual
so ugly.
podcast and an auditory medium. Auditory? Audible.
It all works. Hey, visualize what Jude looked like when he was doing that. You're right.
It was uncomfortable.
And if you can make it look worse, you're more right. Welcome back, everybody. If you are unfamiliar with our podcast, welcome for the first time. You got a lot of catching up to do. Go listen to those first and then come back.
I think we've got like 72 episodes.
72 episodes. This
It's
is, I
more than
think-
72.
Yeah, I think this is episode 18. Wait, 100. That's more than 72.
1800.
100. We've been putting out one a week for 150
Episode
years.
1800.
That was quick math.
Oh, wow.
I'd
Yeah,
be
it was wrong.
curious to know if it was right.
I'm really good at quick
no,
math. if
can
you
you
don't have
guys
to do it
believe-
correctly.
What?
I said I'm really good at quick math if it doesn't have to be correct.
Oh no, my cards.
I'm only good at quick math.
We're playing poker as we record this podcast.
No. Can you guys believe, though, that we're like 18 episodes in? I think I said that last episode, but I said 17. But it's crazy. We are, after this, like 6 episodes from the completion of our first season.
Oh, are we going to release a DVD?
With like bloopers and bonus features.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
we
sure.
will leave it off with a big cliffhanger for season 2.
Ooh.
So
I'm going to remember that you
be
said that.
posted. Yeah.
Um,
I'm
if
literally
we
going to
do
shoot Levi
release-
in the last episode of the season and see if he makes it to season 2.
If we did release bonus features and bloopers, I know a place where they are.
Where would that be?
Patreon.
Really? Tell
Yeah.
me about that.
Well, on Patreon, a place where if you are so inclined, you can support us and support every effort of Christian Influence. We host a ton of gaming servers and events and things like that, and we are starting new podcasts. If you want to support that, patreon.com/Christian Influence, and if you back at $5, you get bonus content.
Yeah, Patreon. You could say it's a place where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, by everybody, he means us because we see who backs.
We know who you are.
We know who you are. No,
We have a list.
I think something new is coming out there this week, actually.
Really, what's in that?
I believe it's a discussion about how you and I almost hit a deer.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a funny little bit.
That sounds incredibly
Pretty sure-
interesting. Can I listen to it right now?
I don't know.
Well, let's think about the Wednesday that this will be up.
Probably.
Probably.
No, yes.
Hey, go
Yeah,
check the Patreon.
I'm pretty sure it was cut out of an episode that was just too long and we weren't able to use it, so that's where it
I
goes.
remember recording that. It felt like forever ago. So go check out the Patreon to find out how Jerry hit me with a deer.
A deer.
I grabbed a deer off the road and smacked Jude in the head with it.
By the antlers.
And at the very least, if you want to get more involved in the discussions that happen on this podcast, you can find us on Facebook at Under the Influence Pod or Under the Influence Podcast, and you can also get involved in the entirety of the community on Discord. Go to ChristianInfluence.net and you can get a link to the Discord. We've got a ton of stuff there. People hang out, talk, hang out in voice channels and chat with each other, or just talk about this podcast on the Under the Influence channel, or play a bunch of games with each other. So Speaking of playing games, we've got a returning segment here. I don't want to say segment because it doesn't mean we're going to do it again in the future. But back by popular demand, people in the Discord have told us how much they absolutely loved it, that we did this the first time. And they want it again. So we are going to play Super Fight.
Super.
Oh, man. I don't think I can use this card.
So if you don't know what Super Fight is, it's a game.
Wow. Levi and I got
in which we all get character cards, and then once you choose one of those character cards, you then go through attribute or superpower cards, like shooting bees out of your mouth, having a
blinking and stopping
nuclear
time.
missile,
Well,
being
that's a superpower, I guess.
bold. Those are all
that's a real
superpowers.
world
Yeah,
superpower.
being brave. That's all. I mean, that's and then you decide who
That's
wins.
all.
Yeah, and then we just argue about who wins. So
Yeah.
we are going to present our fighters here first, and have a bit of a bickering session, and then we're going to move on to presenting our superpowers. So, are we ready? Let's start with Levi. You've had yours picked out since before we even started recording.
Yes, I did. I did.
I think I'm not going to play the devil.
A swarm of killer bees.
That's
See, his specifies killer.
hey, bees are dangerous. Bees of all varieties are dangerous.
Okay. What is yours?
I'd like to see yours before I pick.
Nah.
Shoot. Can I get a rules lawyer to look at this one? Jerry's computer is about to explode.
Yeah.
And it's screaming at us. All right, I've picked out mine. And I'm terrified to be near the computer.
It's just overheating.
Oh, that's all.
All right, I've picked out mine.
We're currently recording this on a Samsung Galaxy phone.
And it is bulging.
At 30,000 feet
It
in
is
the air.
smoking. Rhinoceros.
Apache warrior.
Okay, well, you're losing.
Wow.
I think this is
culturally
like rock,
insensitive
paper,
much?
scissors.
Culturally insensitive. Oh my gosh.
I could have picked college a cappella group, and we all know what race they are.
I could have chosen meatloaf.
Portuguese. Okay, well, that's not funny.
Wow, I thought it was.
Okay, well, I've got mine.
All right,
And
superpowers.
It's topical and funny
Dude,
and ironic.
my superpower.
Well, this one's already true.
Mine just wins.
See,
in half.
it feels like you've made more cultural statements than I have.
In half.
See,
Like the Midas touch from that Jackbox game. Jerry.
what's that?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, all of these are dumb.
Well, I can tell you all now it's going to end in a draw.
Nah.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna win.
I don't think you will.
All right. Go ahead.
No, I went first with what it actually was.
All right. I'm armed with a Gatling gun.
All right.
You can go.
No, it's you. I'm last.
Okay. I'm a rhinoceros riding a nuclear missile.
I don't think that.
I think it's a draw. Unless
Yeah.
you really got something. Unless you've got like.
Swarm of killer bees.
With
That's
nuclear.
3 stories tall.
Okay.
The swarm is 3 stories tall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a
actually-
nuke still does that one.
Okay. How much is a swarm? These are 30 foot tall bees. How much
What?
is a swarm?
No. The swarm is 30 feet, dude.
Oh, I thought
Not
each
each
one.
bee.
Oh, well then I win. It's a draw. Dude, it's a nuke. Listen, if you had an unlimited
If a
amount of bees,
single bee
perhaps.
survives, I win.
Yeah, if.
And if you have millions of
But he's
bees-
nuking. He's nuking a 3-story tall building.
Dude, I'm
that wouldn't
nuking
survive.
within a mile of you. You're dead.
Where's the missile riding? You're just riding on it. Are you aiming it?
Yeah.
Really? How's
Dude,
a rhino?
you know that
gonna
that's
aim
not.
it?
That's
Listen,
true.
if you were like a hockey player and you could control the amount of killer bees you had with your mouth or something, maybe.
Well, in this scenario, the rhino is fighting us. So I think it could reach the battle. And if a rhino riding a nuclear missile can reach the battle, it's over, right?
And nuclear missiles don't really move unless, they're falling on you.
The fallen. Oh, yeah. So really, your fighter is a nuke that happens to have a rhino strapped to it.
No, my fighter is an extremist
Ooh.
who has some really intentional beliefs
About rhino supremacy.
about rhino heaven,
About rhino heaven.
and it's going to be great for him.
Man, rhino heaven.
I get 72
great.
watering holes if I kill you guys.
Okay. Well, I think we all know who's winning here.
No one. It's a draw.
My Apache warrior is giving his Gatling gun to the
swarm
bees.
of bees.
He's going to use his body to feed the bees, all in hopes that they can defeat this rhino, and they're still going to lose. Your rhino's going to die, so it's a draw. Fastest game of super fight there's ever been. It was over when we played our cards.
I mentioned bees and a nuclear missile in the preamble, so maybe I can really control.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You gotta roll that tape back, see if you're cheating.
Swarm of killer bees. Nuclear missile.
Wow, he was right.
Yeah,
What's weird
did you
is
hear that?
I was still talking and being recorded while you were.
Well, you know, I've been known to bend the rules.
You bend the rules of rewinding power.
Jerry's Galaxy phone is going to explode.
My
again.
laptop is. Here, be quiet for a second. Let's see if the mics are picking it up. Well, they're picking up whatever that noise is. No, they're not picking it up. I think we're good. I know we can hear it, but remember, sometimes we can hear things that the
Is that true?
yes.
Yeah.
Like what?
Like when you
this.
continuously fart.
I don't
you
do
can hear
that.
it, but it doesn't get picked up.
Don't say that.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Stop. That's not
I'm
true.
pretty
It's
sure.
like a constant stream.
That's
You
not
know,
true.
it's a good thing we're using a different laptop right now because I don't have all my sound effects.
Nice.
But there's one that. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, that's me continuously farting.
Levi, is there what?
He's there.
All right. I believe. I mean, there was our little intro. We did another super fight.
It was short-lived.
I hope you're happy. Everybody that wanted it.
I feel good. I feel vindicated after my losses.
Honestly, that's true. The last time we played
I came
this-
back and literally blew everyone out of the water.
Yeah, you're like, if I
Including
can't win,
yourself.
nobody can.
I can't win.
Well, no, in a way, your radical rhinoceros believes he's winning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe in the real
Then he
world,
goes
I
to
should give
the
these radical
pearly
ideas
gates
more, benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm
Goes to the
saying?
pearly gates
Maybe.
and finds out
Maybe I
that
should give more.
Who are you? Right
I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt like I was slipping into a little bit of a Joe
yeah.
Joe who?
Pesci.
Joe Pesci?
No, it was a. Wow, I'm blanking on the president's name.
Biden.
Joe Biden.
Biden?
I was stuck in the impression.
Yeah, you were slipping there,
Yeah.
but you weren't quite there.
Well, it was
all right,
method
so
acting.
anything interesting happened this week, Jude?
Sure, lots of stuff.
What about you, Levi?
Okay.
I started a new job.
Oh, really? How'd
Oh,
that go?
yeah.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Wait, let me guess. It's at Wonderland, the arcade for 10 cents,
Yes.
5 cents.
It's 5
The
cents.
whole
Never been-
arcade
I've-
costs 10,
I've
though.
never been there.
Yeah.
It runs off of nickels?
It runs entirely off.
It used to. Does
So,
it
like,
still?
on the back of nickels?
How are they still doing that?
At least like 4 years ago
The entire
when I went
business is
to
on
Shemekda.
Nickels
and
back?
I took someone there.
That's true.
The listener again.
Julia, our sister, went there not that long ago, and I'm pretty sure it still was a nickel arcade.
Yeah.
Is that the term?
I think it's an arcade
Just
on
some,
a nickels back.
Wow. Some
A Nickelback arcade.
I can't think of a Nickelback song.
We all just want to be arcades.
Running off of nickels.
look at this arcade.
Look at this arcade. I'll tell you, buddy, it's paid for a nickel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sweaty right now.
How's your new job? Dude, it's so hot in here.
In the
is
room we're recording in is like
extremely
89 degrees.
Yeah, it's like 96 degrees today, and the building we're in has no AC. It directly faces the sun in the evening. We had the window open with a fan earlier, but because of the microphones, we had to turn all that off and shut the window. So we're suffering for you right now. Yeah, the other guys are holding ice cold water bottles to their foreheads.
Sorry, Levi. Your job.
Yeah. So, job, it's early morning stalking. So, whole lot of fun.
Who are you stalking?
It's a minor.
Best.
So you wouldn't know.
was so stupid.
So fast.
That was incredibly fast.
Thank you, everybody.
I've got whiplash.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Are you allowed to say what company you work for?
I don't know. Probably don't want to.
Yeah, probably shouldn't.
Just
You don't
The
want
real stalkers.
Yeah.
out
Are you
there.
ashamed of it?
no.
Oh.
But
He's
I just don't want to like.
No, it's a good job. It's stable.
Yeah, it's a
right?
good job. And
Dude, it's okay, man.
stalking. Except the only thing is, I am incredibly out of shape.
Okay.
From the moment I touch a pallet to start stalking, drenched in sweat.
Why would you need pallets for stocking?
The joke is
Oh,
dead,
to stand
Jerry.
on. Sorry, go ahead.
No, what?
The joke is dead, Jerry. I'm really quick and Jerry's really slow.
Wait, you made a joke earlier? Go ahead.
Yeah, but I just
Just
drenched
immediate
in
sweat.
It's horrible. It's disgusting. I go to my 15-minute break. I'm dry, but my clothes still soaking wet.
Gross.
Once I'm back on the floor, instant sweat. It's awful. Literally wring my shirt out at the end
I
of the
was
day.
literally going to make a joke earlier about how we were all talking about how gross and hot and sweaty we are right now.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about how, oh, I'm working morning shifts. And I was going to be like, oh, so you're not in the heat sweating.
Oh, no.
But
It's not hot there.
yeah, you're just,
I am just physically out of shape.
dude, your tongue is so blue.
I just realized.
Yeah,
mine-
and your entire mouth, your teeth are blue.
Don't say that.
Your teeth are
Stop.
actually dyed blue.
Well, I eat a lot of blue.
What were you guys doing? Oh,
I drank a lot of water.
Yeah, we were just eating
you
a lot of
drank
blue.
so much water, so much ice cold water, it turned your tongue
Yeah, it
blue.
was refreshingly blue.
Yeah,
I add a little blue to my water.
it was the Airheads. I remember now.
Yeah, blue's healthy for you.
I'm incredibly out of shape. Why is your tongue so blue? Well, I was eating a bunch of airheads.
Nice, but it's going well.
Yeah, so far.
You've done a full week of it now, right?
A
work week?
partial week.
Oh, okay.
Because like I started like 2 days into the work week.
Is everybody being nice to you?
No,
Are they picking on you?
they're all picking on me.
What kind of names do they call you?
My actual name.
Stalker.
Oh, that's the worst. That should be called your actual name. Jerry, what happened to you this week?
No, but I do have to wear a stupid name tag.
Oh, yeah?
I hate it so much, especially when
Well, if it says stupid on it. I did it too.
when customers come over and they're like, "Oh, hey, Levi," and I'm just like, how do you know me? I don't know you. I don't know you. How do you
Wait,
know
okay,
me?
that's an interesting question. If you see someone working somewhere and they have a name tag on, do you actually call them their name?
No.
Okay.
If I call him like
you?
sugar,
The only time that I will literally go out of my way to go, "Oh, hi, name on
Even
the
if you
name
didn't
tag."
Kind of
need
make
to.
it a joke.
Like I point out I'm reading off of your name
Yeah.
tag and that's your name.
Because I think name tags are so dumb. I think they only serve the purpose to be like, oh, that person has a name tag on, therefore I know they work here. You know what would be way better than name tags? Just
A
things that
job
say,
title.
I work here.
Yeah.
That's it. Which also places have, like vests and stuff that say, oh, I work here, or they have Walmart on them or whatever.
I think it's a generational thing. Like probably
Yeah.
older generations felt comfortable going, I know Alex's name. And now we just don't care about anybody.
No,
we don't
well,
want
that's
anybody
not
knowing
it,
our
no.
names.
No.
We're mad at the world.
If I want to know their
Well,
name,
we get a certain amount of like anonymity.
it's this weird middle ground though, because like I think 99.9% of the time, I and other people are not going to use the person's name, right? You're just gonna be like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't find candles. What aisle are those on? And they're like, oh, they're over
Sean.
here. You know, or whatever it is. But I'm not gonna go, hey, Sean, I can't find candles. Do you know where they're at? And they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's a little weird.
because then they're like, well, I don't know your name, but you know
I
mine.
don't think that's what they're thinking.
No, but it's still weird.
It is weird.
And it's weird for both people. It's
Yeah.
weird as the person saying the name, but because it's there.
You feel it like
If it wasn't there, I'd act the same way. Still not use their name. I'd just be
Yeah.
like, excuse me, ma'am or sir.
Can I be honest?
What?
I've literally never thought of this.
Really?
I never use their name. I look at it. I like to know it, but I never say it. I just go, hey, excuse me. I need to know where the
I've thought about it
Adult
every time
diapers are.
I've been working somewhere and I've had a name tag.
yeah.
And because there's always somebody, and it's like one person who goes, who like says something, and I have a customer service interaction, and by the end of it, they're like, "Thanks, Jerry," and they walk away, and I'm like,
Ew.
What?
You like feel naked.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Like
you
you've
do
given
feel weird.
over like some vital
like, that
part
person
of, like,
doesn't know
who
me.
you
They're-
are to that person with no exchange back.
Yes,
and you didn't
yeah.
even know that you gave it away.
It's because like if I introduce
There's
myself
no
to
equivalent exchange.
yes, that's it. Because if I like, hey, I'm Jerry. Nice to meet you. What's your name? There's always this like social thing to it. This like tradition almost. But when they usurp all of that, they rob me of it, and they just say, "Thanks, Jerry. See you later." And I'm like, duh.
I've never been in a position where I had to wear a name tag, really. Except, no, like working with kids. That's the only time I've ever thought about it. Because then they go like, they call you Mr. and then your first name or something stupid. But in the real world, I've never, I always get called
What?
Mr. Jude.
Nobody's ever called you that. You don't have to lie in front of us.
So many children.
Yeah.
You're around children a lot. Aren't
Well, no, like I did a VBS once.
And they called you
literally
Mr.
by
Jude?
a guy's chair. The guy in the chair's son called me Mr. Jude.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Mr. Jude is cool.
No, it's not.
It reminds
it's
me of-
ridiculous sounding.
Huh?
Mr. Jude.
It sounds ridiculous because
Mr.
it's your name, just like it would sound ridiculous if Mr. Jerry.
Yeah, but like that's the only time I've worn a name tag.
I actually
It's
don't
ever
think
mattered.
that sounds that ridiculous.
Mr. Jerry.
Hey, Mr. Jerry.
Yeah, Mr. Levi sounds ridiculous.
Well, we can all agree on that. Common ground.
Like Mr. Guy in the Chair, that's ridiculous.
I don't know. It's kind of got a ring to it.
All right, contrarian much. Nothing particularly interesting happened to me this way. Just kidding. My dog ate a $500 baseball.
That's true. And other things, yeah?
Yeah,
Guess
that's
who it
the
was
last
signed
time
by?
that's the last time I checked its value, which I actually don't know how much it's worth now, and I don't really know. But I have a baseball. Wait,
Had
a baseball signed by world famous Willie Mays. It was given to me. If you don't know who that is, that's fine. He was a baseball player. Yeah, I had a baseball signed by him, as well as I had a baseball signed by the championship team from here in town when they won the
When they were
championship.
something?
Yeah, and then true. And then when a bunch of those players eventually went on to and moved on to the Giants, and then also won the World Series. So I had like Tim Lincecum, Buster Posey, like a bunch of the guys that played on the Volcanoes, and then went and won the World Series. I had a ball signed by the entire team that they played on when they won the local championship. So it was worth an interesting amount of money, like a decent amount of money, but that wasn't why it was important to me.
So why'd you let your dog play with it?
Well, that's funny that you ask. I also had 4 baseball cards signed by Vida Blue, who was another player who played on the Oakland A's, I think. Just a bunch of stuff, and then I had This is the one that's going to break your heart the most, Levi. You remember in high school when we used to play this game called the Ultimate Showdown,
Yeah.
and we had all those. I had all those old notes or like old notebook paper sheets that had all of our copies of the Ultimate Showdown. She ate them all. Yeah. She ate an entire Sharpie. Yeah. That one hurts the most.
Can Sharpies kill dogs?
Hopefully.
Because I
yikes.
wouldn't be super sad anymore.
Wow.
She ate the whole Sharpie. There's nothing left. How'd you know she ate it?
Just the butt end of it.
She ate the plastic? Mm-hmm. And the Sharpie?
Well, that's what I said.
Does her poop look different?
I wasn't looking.
Did her tongue get all dyed Sharpie?
There was just a little bit of black on the edge. So yeah, I came home after work yesterday and I had it in a box, and she knocked the box off of my nightstand. It dumped all the contents out of it, and then my entire bed was covered in all of these collectibles I owned. You know what she didn't eat though? The certificate of authenticity of that ball.
Oh, there you go.
It was pristine, dude. Certificate of authenticity. Ball signed by Willie Mays. Perfectly good. So I got that. I threw it away though.
And the ball's just gone.
Oh, dude, the ball was the insides of it were completely shredded. The outside was like tanned yellow. Wasn't before. And dude, it was destroyed. I was so upset, man. Good opportunity to practice patience though. Which I didn't.
Yeah.
No,
Put her down right at the
I was so mad, but it did make me think a lot about how important certain things are to me. So I was really trying to, contemplate that a little more, maybe. Make things not as important to me. It's frustrating, but yeah. And then, I was just, when I really, really wanted to like scream and yell, I kind of tried to tone it down a little bit and just pray.
Yeah, and the game banging on my door. It was like, guess what my dog just ate?
Yeah,
And
I did
listed
do
it
that.
all off
I
then.
did do that.
He hit me.
Yeah, I hit him.
Took it all out on
I
me.
bit you?
No, I said, you hit me.
Oh.
With the bat.
Oh, yeah. But
The
yeah.
one not signed by.
Also, there was
Really
a little card in there that my late grandfather gave me that she destroyed too.
That one's actually sad.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that bad.
Yeah.
Now I do.
Well, that's fine. You know what she didn't eat though? By the grace of God, she didn't eat my Native American arrowhead. That would have been bad.
Let me tell you, I'm real thankful she didn't eat my plutonium sample. That I keep in my mouth.
But yeah, that's what happened to me this week. Actually, that happened to me yesterday. What about you, Jude? Anything happened this week?
Well, some crazy things happened en route.
On route with Jones.
Welcome back. Yeah, I almost died twice.
Oh,
Yeah, I almost got
Twice.
you're about
bored.
to fulfill the intro,
What? What did you say?
the segment intro where you crash and scream.
What did you say?
Hey, forget it. Keep going.
Okay.
Gravy.
First one, I
Slow
started
now.
Friday morning by getting onto the freeway because I deliver kettle corn and I got to drive places. And the guy in front of me had what looked like big sheets of like insulating foam on the back of his truck, and it was strapped down just through tension. And I realized once he sped up to merge onto the freeway that it wasn't foam; it was particle board. And one of the sheets snapped in half and flew off behind him, and half of it landed on the road, and I ran over it, and the other half was just like, you know how things that have a lot of surface area fall slow but fast. Because they like do that, they catch the wind and then they fall quickly. It was like just trying to slam into my windshield.
Good
And so I was
night.
just swerving right and left, looking like a monkey, ooh, the whole time. And I just avoided it, and then he pulled over. And
Did you die?
Oh wait,
unfortunately,
did you pull over?
No,
Okay.
I had kettle corn to deliver, and no one got hurt. Only one thing broke off, and then he pulled it. Maybe I should have pulled over, but I
Hold on,
didn't.
He pulled over to like clean up his mess.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Clean up his mess. And that just, I was worried the entire day. On Wednesday, I got out of a store and a woman yelled at me and said they shorted me $5. And I didn't think she was yelling at me.
She was yelling at you because
She was yelling
they
at me.
shorted you.
They shorted me $5.
She was saying that about you.
No, to the store. I was in the store fighting Satan in the bathroom. And when I came out, she was pulled up to the curb and had said, they shorted me $5. And I said, excuse me, what? And she said, I need you to go in and tell them that they shorted me $5.
On our product?
No, just the store. Had nothing to do with me.
She just wanted you to vouch for her?
Yes.
Some random stranger?
Yeah. And I was like, pardon me? And she
She
goes,
could tell you were a Christian. She was like, you're going to help me out.
I guess. I was wearing my Christian influence sweater. Really? I was, yeah.
All right, that's fine.
And I said, okay. And I just walked in, and the cashier lady,
Wait, you followed through with this?
what was I supposed to
madness?
do? She was yelling at me, I need you to go in. And I was like, okay.
That doesn't seem that reasonable.
Okay, so when the guy,
She was in her car, pulled up right next to the store, had her bags,
the
and she
guy's
said,
plywood breaks off, almost kills you.
yeah,
You just swerve, watch him pull over, and then you just drive off.
he had it handled.
Woman's like, hey, they shorted me $5.
I was kind of taken aback.
You need to go in there and
was
get
in
my
shock.
money back. And then you're just like,
Okay.
Okay.
Listen,
And think about the reason you gave before. Hey, Jude, did you pull over because you almost died? No, I had kettle corn to deliver. Hey, I have a problem and I need you to fix it. It has nothing to do with you, and I might even be lying.
I didn't have kettle corn to deliver.
These
And
weren't
also,
sequential.
I was in shock from my experience in the store restroom. Like, I was just a little shaken up, okay? My nerves were razzled. And so I said, okay, I walked in. I said to the cashier later, there's a lady outside saying you shorted her $5. And she turned and looked at me and just had the most defeated look on her face. She clearly knew the woman, and she said, yeah, that lady won't walk. And
What?
What?
she just said, yeah, that lady won't walk. Not that she can't walk, just that she won't.
What does that mean?
I don't know. And so she said, if she wants to come in, she needs to come in, but she needs to take one of the scooters. And so I went out to the lady and I said, she said, you need to come in. And she said, well, I'm not going to walk. Not I can't walk. I'm not going to walk.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. She said, can you get me a scooter? And so I said, yeah. And so I got to ride. But then she said, I'll park, because she was pulled up next to the curb. So she parked in the furthest corner of the parking lot.
Did she walk up to the scooter?
No, she won't walk. So I took the scooter and rode it out to the furthest point.
She
of the
won't even
parking lot.
walk to get the scooter?
No,
Can she walk?
I don't know, because I pulled the scooter up to her car and she opened the door, walked over, got on the scooter, drove it to the
She
door.
sounds like she really, really wants this $5.
Yeah.
I have no idea. After that, I just left. And one of the employees was like, hey, nice job. And I went, cool. So I left.
Do you think you did a good thing?
Did they say
I don't know.
sarcastically?
No. He like looked at me. He also had this like, hey, nice job. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I left.
Hey.
The second time I almost died was because a guy in front of me in a white
Oh,
van.
that wasn't the second time?
No. He just didn't have brake lights. And so he slammed on the brakes. And I realized, wow, this car is getting a lot bigger. Oh, no, it's getting closer.
This car's getting a lot bigger.
And so, but the person behind me was like right on my bumper, which really, makes me angry. And so I had to
Grinds your
play this
gears.
game where I'm slamming on my brakes, but not too fast.
Yeah.
Or else the guy will hit me, but also very fast because the guy in front of me is slamming on his brakes. And that was interesting. And the guy behind me honked, and I was all frazzled. And I was like, I can't communicate to you that the guy in front of me. And so that guy just tailed me for a while. And I thought, well, maybe I'm going to die. I didn't.
Wait, so the almost dying experience wasn't because you had to slam on your brakes. It's because you thought this guy was going to murder you?
No, I had to slam on my brakes. That was really the almost dying thing.
You know what I do in situations like that, where I'm driving for long periods of time with somebody that's kind of on my tail? I like to periodically train them so that they're ready in the event of a real emergency where I have to slam on my brakes. So about every 4 miles, I will just slam full weight on the brakes and then immediately gas it again back to full speed so that they're ready when it's real.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I drive a company vehicle.
That's fine. You can be rude about it.
What are you talking about? You're telling me I should slam my brakes because someone's on my tail?
Obviously.
I can't afford to do that. I've already wrecked 2 company vehicles. Can't do it
Well,
a third
obviously,
time.
the way that you drive.
Dude,
is
I am
some
the
sort of
thin
problem.
line between another van and, I don't know, something else. I also saw a guy who had clearly been on meth on a mobility scooter,
Well, you
second
can't know
mobility
that for
scooter.
Wait, where was he?
He was trying to merge on I-5 on a mobility scooter. So I think I can know that by the way he was driving alone. He was very angry. He was very loud. And it was at the... It was again on Friday because I was delivering the
How did you have 2 hilarious experiences? Well, the
mobility
first one's
scooter...
whatever. But
like,
yeah.
stories. Yeah. Well, the first one wasn't really hilarious. It was just annoying. But this guy was crazy. I was delivered to Salem Coastal. And so there's that weird Highway 22 Lancaster thing.
Yeah.
And the bridge over I-5, I'm in the right lane, and I'm sitting there, and then next to me pulls up a man in a t-shirt and short shorts on a mobility scooter, and I'm at a red
In
light.
a lane? Like he
In
has
the
a
left
lane?
lane, and there's
He has
cars
a lane
behind him
to
that are like,
himself?
yes, there's cars behind him that are like keeping a distance because they don't know what to do. And so it's a red light, and he just keeps going, and he's like yelling, and he's like swinging it. I imagine in his mind he was swinging at something, but nothing. And he just keeps going and goes down the ramp to go on to I-5. And then my light turns green, so I go, and I get past him just before the two turn lanes merge.
Wait, he was merging onto I-5.
Onto I-5 at like,
So that means he had already been driving.
thought he
He'd
was
already
in the
been
movie.
driving on that highway.
Yes, on Highway 22. He'd probably come off of Lancaster,
Oh, my
straight onto
goodness.
Highway 22, and then just was going to I-5 north.
It's almost reasonable if he was like on that highway going towards, because you know the highway turns into like Mission Street,
Yes.
or whatever, and
in West
or not Mission,
area.
it turns out whatever road, and then you can go to like Costco.
Yeah,
and,
old Costco.
That's true. That place is just a wasteland now. But like you can go to like well, whatever's down there.
Yes, you can go to a non-interstate.
Yeah, but like he didn't. He must have thought that's what he was doing. The
I don't
poor
think he
guy.
did. I think he was going to probably like defeat a space Viking or something.
Probably.
His frame of mind was not.
How old was he?
I got to get to the Burger Shack or
Well, it's
whatever.
not about age; it's about math.
no.
Yeah, really hard to tell age. I mean,
There's a point at which you're so old that I think you can rule meth out, right?
25
like
to 35.
25 I
25
thought
to
you said old
45.
man.
what?
This entire time I've been picturing like 65 plus.
25 to 45, and I say that because he had the face of a very old man.
Okay.
But the body of a maybe old
45
man?
is not a very old man.
Okay, 25 to 75. He had the face of a
What
very
a
old...
range.
I'm trying to tell you, it's hard to tell the guy's age because he had done so much meth. I don't know how old he was.
That is true.
He had
I've
the
just been
body of
picturing-
maybe 30,
Okay.
thin, as they tend to be.
I'd been picturing like the old man from Up.
No, tall, lanky.
Because I thought you said old man that was on meth, so I was putting old man first, like, you know, and he was an old man that happened to have just accidentally done some
Picture
meth.
me in short shorts, like volleyball shorts.
Yeah.
And a t-shirt.
But 20 years older.
No, me. But my skin has been tanned like hide. And my face looks like our grandpa Gaga. There you go.
That's just how I see you every day.
Okay, well, I was on a mobility scooter trying to merge on the I-5.
Ah, so it's it's a personal story.
I think he thought that he was in the movie Speed, and he had to keep.
if this gets below
If
2
this
miles an
gets
hour.
below 2 miles an hour.
He wasn't
Where's
waving
the
at
biggest
anything.
straightaway?
Yeah.
I-5.
The biggest straightaway. He wasn't like waving his hand at anything. He was trying.
He was
to
trying to
gain
go.
momentum.
I can't stop. I gotta keep
Yeah.
this going.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't stop at the red.
Well, he shouldn't have used both his hands because then he started slowing down.
That's true.
Is that
He
how
took
it
his
works?
hand out the throttle.
Yeah, you gotta keep your hand on
That's
the
true.
or the.
The gas.
Yeah.
Ooh, a gas-powered little mobility scooter. Well, what an eventful week for all of us.
Yeah, it was wild.
'Twas wild.
Yeah. I ate a can of tuna
Gross.
that had been sitting in a hot van for like 2 weeks.
Is that why you got sick? No, that was
That was
after
before I ate the tuna. I ate the tuna Sunday,
Okay.
and nothing happened.
Nice.
Yeah.
Monday.
Anyway,
came
I
around.
wanted to talk about something. Maybe I'd throw it at you guys. It's not something that I know the answer to, but it's something that I've faced a few times, and you guys probably will face, being a bit younger than me. And it's
That's true.
the balancing. There's going to be a serious lane shift, by the way, like on I-5.
Balancing on a tightrope.
Yeah. Balancing the relationships that you sometimes are forced to make or are just in with people who are members of like the whole, I don't know all the letters, LGBT spectrum.
The alphabet community.
The alphabet community. Yeah.
The alphabet soup.
Yeah. So like for instance, like, you know, sometimes you're in a situation where it's not just like, hi, your name's Paul, my name's Jude, let's be friends. Oh, you're a strew of letters. I don't know what that means.
What?
But sometimes you're just in
Well, if
areas
they
like
say,
school
like,
or in a work environment where you have to work alongside, you know, the alphabet community. How do you manage those relationships? Is it, or even if they're in your family? Like, I know we have far removed family that are members of the alphabet community.
Well, they've been removed for a reason. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, like,
You mean
through
removed in
blood
the sense
and
that like
raw.
they're like distant cousins, or
Cousins
something?
of cousins, yeah.
Yeah.
Sisters of cousins, sisters, brothers.
Sisters of cousins, brothers, sisters. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you navigate a relationship where, especially when they come at you with such hostility? Because a lot of people are under the idea that not only do we, not accept their lifestyle, but we hate them, and that's kind of the immediate like, oh well, you hate me. So
Yeah.
there
are examples
they
of
come on the
Christians
offensive.
who do show hatred. Right.
Yeah, and I think that's wrong.
Right.
The whole holding signs outside of churches saying you're all.
Outside of churches.
Is that what I said? It's 95 degrees in this room. Holding signs outside of places. I was thinking about the Westboro
of
Baptist
gay
Church.
churches.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why church is in my head, because I don't like the way they do it. I think it's a little whack.
What?
Holding
up
signs that say,
say,
you're all going to hell and God hates
Well,
free holies.
saying God hates, yeah.
Saying God hates is what?
Well, no, just speaking for God doesn't really get you many good places, I would say.
I think that's true. I think traditionally, across the board, speaking for God is a bad thing.
So
like,
wait,
how do you do that? Someone comes on you.
speak for God?
Speak for God? No. So someone meets you and they're already on the offensive.
Me,
right? You. How do you deal with that?
Oh, if somebody walks up to me and I've never met them before and they're just on the offensive?
No, say it's our sister's cousin, sister, brother. And
Okay,
they
somebody
say-
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm like at a family reunion.
Yeah.
Okay. And somebody walks up and is like, well, first of all, I wouldn't be at said family reunion. But if I was, then
I mean, because we have been.
we have?
Yeah. I feel like I'm thinking of a very specific few people that you're not thinking.
Clearly not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In our family that have walked up to me and been like, hey, I'm gay.
I don't think it's blood. No, but they are obviously gay. You know what I mean when I say that?
Sure, yeah. I think everybody does. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. And
They come up to you. How do you manage that?
and they're
You
just like, hey, you hate me, don't you?
no.
Oh, I thought that was, you said they're obviously,
They have the idea that Christians, they just hate us.
and they walk up to me hostile.
Have you ever talked to a person from the alphabet community ever in your entire life? And how did you do it? That's what I'm asking, Jerry. I didn't think it was that complex of a question.
It's not. You said, let's walk through an example. You said where somebody walks up and they're obviously already hostile. And then you said like we've been in this situation, so I was just trying to remember what
No, I
situation
said
that
there are
was.
people that we know. Not that we've been in a situation where we've been around them.
Right. How do you deal with? I think that it can be. There's a ton of situations that Christians will find themselves in where we are put on the defensive, and sometimes it's like startling, right? Where it kind of comes out of nowhere. And actually, recently in the Discord, we had somebody join who, about this issue and others, kind of put me on the defensive very quickly. How I dealt with it, I was gentle. It's really, really easy for me specifically, to enjoy like retorting or like coming back to people with like derogatory wit. Like if somebody says something that's like, okay, I talked about this a little bit when we talked about that guy at that kettle corn show.
Oh, yeah.
Practicing patience with Paul. But when people walk up to me and they're just like, you know what their motive is, you know that they're trying to get something out of you, get a rise out of you, or they're only there to talk to you in such a way to like try and get you to slip up or something like that. That really bothers me. I don't like when people are obviously assuming something of me, but then like walking up to me and like they think that they can direct the conversation to make me fail in the way that they expect me to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Is
you
that
can
weird?
tell you're walking into a trap. Or at least the
or
trap
they
is
think
set.
that they're walking me into one, and I'm like, okay. So usually I will. I can find myself wanting to, and sometimes I can find myself responding, like very condescending in a way that like, oh, look at you, you look stupid, like that kind of thing. But recently, I've been obviously trying. I've for a long time been trying not to be that way, but I can find myself resorting to that very easily. But the question is, how do we deal with it, and how have we dealt with it? So most recently, there was that guy on Discord who he jumped into the Discord and he was saying a bunch of ridiculous things. But some of the stuff he was saying was about the LGBT community and how Christians view them. And he had interesting points because, I say interesting because they were still false, but they were like those points where somebody has Bible verses. Because you have these different camps of people where they're like, they just come to you and they're like, they just have this idea that Christians hate gay people or whatever. And they're just like, well, since you hate gay people, I'm just going to yell at you and I'm going to hate you. And then it's like, well, you haven't even talked to me. You can't tell me that I hate anything without having talked to me. And then you have these other people too that will come to you and be like, well, I know not only that the Bible says this, they'll be like, I have the verse. And what really kind of like gets me off my footing a little bit is when I'm like, oh man, I didn't even know that verse, like. But there was a specific verse in Leviticus, I believe, that this guy pointed to, and talking about homosexuality, and was like, he said something because it was becoming more and more clear that he was only there in the Discord to cause strife and to cause just like problems, to cause discord. And to get people to kind of like either make a fool of themselves or just to be a menace. And I eventually ended up asking him like, are you just here to be a menace? And he admitted to it, but, no, he was like saying a bunch of stupid stuff. And I asked him about it. And he said, well, I'm only here doing it because I hate Christians. So is that kind of along the lines what you're asking? Like people that they're there with this aggression. And he even told me that he hated Christians. Yeah, so I think the way I dealt with it then, because it was a whole lot easier to act justly, but act, correctly, because I knew I was speaking for a whole community of people too, right? Sometimes I should, and I think I should more often think of myself that way. I'm not only, this is interesting. If I kind of checked myself and made sure that I was acting respectfully because I knew I spoke for a community, man, I should way more often check myself because I know that I'm an ambassador of Christ. But in that moment, I was just like, well, and I made sure to stay calm, and he was kind of personally attacking me a little bit, and I just was like, well, I find it very interesting that you're making very sweeping statements about something that it seems like you do not understand. And he was making some, like I said, very sweeping statements about the Bible, and I corrected him. And so I guess I think the best way to deal with people like that, if they kind of corner you and it's already started with this aggression, do not respond in kind. I mean, we've talked about this before, but like when people kind of don't stoop to people's level and don't respond in kind, because then it becomes that back and forth that only grows to something worse. And especially if what they want is to get this aggression out of you, and they think by being aggressive they will get it out of you. I mean, I see nothing fruitful coming out of that. And if anything, it's only going to make things worse. Mm-hmm. But if you are consistent with your values and the things that you believe to be true and that you should be telling them are true, you have to exemplify them. But
yeah, no, I brought it up because a few times in academia and then once in the workforce, I've had kind of some weird confrontations because I've been trying to, when you're trying to balance the like being an ambassador of Christ and kind of wearing that in every aspect of your life, hopefully people would pick up, oh, well, Jude, Jerry, Levi, they're Christians, right? But then that means like maybe someone knows something about you, someone from the alphabet, and so it could kind of lead to these weird altercations. But I recently had one that I think went really well, and it kind of put into perspective how maybe a lot of people aren't doing it well. And it starts with just the conversation we had with our grandfather a while ago about like arguments and stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of what I was getting at.
How much he emphasized just diffusion,
right,
and breaking down the preconceived notions, the what's that word?
Presuppositions
that both parties might have. I recently had it was an Instagram conversation with someone who was from a group of people I used to hang out with, and they messaged me asking if I wanted to hang out sometime. And I was like, no, I'm kind of busy. And then they messaged me again. And they're an Alphabet member. But then they kind of accused me of, oh, well, you just quit hanging out because there's some gay people in this group. Because I'm gay, is what they said. And I was in this weird position of like, no, I didn't. But also like, no, I don't support that. And then it was this weird interaction where it felt very, I'm not saying this is what it is, but it felt very analogous to dealing with like the pastoral problem of evil, which is when people have a problem with like a baby, like a mother, her baby dies. And she goes to a pastor and she says, why would God do this? The pastor, obviously, that's not the time where he goes, well, if you look at it, it's actually just because sin is in the world and, there are consequences that aren't always fair. That lady just needs to feel some level of understanding and I don't know if empathy is the right word or just some level of like emotional, right? Rhetorical
Support.
type of support. Yeah. But not support in this instance. But I found myself being like, I'm not going to argue the reasons, like because you're not listening to me when I'm telling you why I think this and this and this and this. So I just said, hey, man, listen, I do like you. I do care about you. But these are my beliefs and I don't hate you. And then there was a banter back that I didn't really appreciate. But then the next day they messaged me and they were like, hey, I'm sorry. I was just rereading these messages and I realized how I had completely come on the offensive. And I really appreciate everything you said. And I'm sorry for the distance. I used some other word, but I can't remember. And it really was just kind of a nothing thing that came from how I kind of talked about I'm having these weird, tough, self-imposed conversations with people that, I can't really be a part of those circles anymore.
Yeah.
And this was a strange repercussion of it. But the ending was very positive and just kind of brought into light how I think a lot of people are handling it wrong, talking with these people, because in their heads, it's not a matter of I'm telling you, like I'm arguing with someone who is consciously doing something that is wrong. Instead, you're having a conversation with someone who isn't consciously choosing. I gotta tread carefully here, or at least isn't under the belief that they're consciously doing something wrong. They're under the belief that they're doing that they are a certain way that I believe is wrong.
That you believe is wrong.
Yeah. So there's a difference with like, well, you know you're actively doing something and I think that thing is wrong. Well, this person is a certain way and I think that thing is wrong. Mm-hmm. And I just felt kind of convicted in that I think we could all be approaching these situations with a little bit more love instead of kind of vindication, which I personally felt, not vindication, vindictiveness. Is that the right word?
I don't know.
I don't know. Just kind of like hostility, because I love to argue. Mm-hmm. And I've been in situations in school, in this specific situation, where it's like, I know I handled it incorrectly because I was arguing. I was saying, well, here's the math of it and why I think it's wrong. And so I got nowhere with this person that I actually really cared about. And I wish I could still be like a friend to or an influence on, but I ruined that. But then this person that came to me through Instagram, I still have like a connection and I can still be somewhat of an influence on them because I handled it not with just like, what you're doing is wrong and I believe it's wrong. And like, I would never say I hate you, but just like be harsh. Instead, I was like, of course, I believe what you're doing is wrong, but I don't hate you. Yeah. And I really care about you. And obviously I want the best for you. And so I just feel like there's a lot of people.
Both of you already know what you think of that action, right? So it doesn't really get you anywhere to talk about that.
Yeah, it's hard to a certain extent because on both sides, unfortunately, there's already presuppositions on how the other person thinks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's always a dramatized version of whatever the worst thing is that they've seen.
A lot of them don't hate Christians. A lot of Christians don't hate them. Unfortunately, there are.
But the loud voices that are people that have they've taken the easy way, because it's really easy if somebody is opposed to you to just return fire, and then that forces more of them to be hostile, and then that makes it easier and it makes you feel vindicated. Hey,
Yeah.
I was hostile, but they came back at me hostile, so I can continue, and there's nothing bad that can come of that. And it just becomes this really easy and simple, but really bad trap that just, it makes both people no longer be people, and you're just fighting on two like podiums that are just totally opposed, and you can't tell like what the other person is actually thinking,
where
or
they actually
believing,
lie.
wanting. And it's unfortunate, but it's just the reality. It's easy to just return hostility with hostility. Jesus tells us to turn the other cheek, and it works, like in Jude's.
And what I'm trying to specify is it doesn't appear like it's hostile, especially to me who's saying it, because it's under the guise of what I'm saying is true. Like I'm giving you true points, but I'm not getting anywhere. And I know I'm not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
When there is a way I could be getting somewhere. And it's not through the what is perceived to be very hostile argument format.
It's not always what you say. What you say isn't what they are hearing
Yeah.
most of the time.
What do you mean?
They're not hearing what you're actually
Or
saying.
at least what you're intending to say.
Like what your intentions are.
Yeah.
But through whatever you said and whatever lens point they're viewing it as, whatever the tone was, can dramatically shift
Right.
the same basic ideas that you're trying to get across to them to have wildly different connotations.
Right.
And it's I don't know, it's been on my mind because it made me think about that person I knew in high school. I'm completely cut off from them now, not by my own choice, but I really wish, like, you know, I had done more to be some type of influence in their life. And I just feel like there's a lot of people who are listening who may also kind of need that wake-up call. And also, I don't want to skew too much to the other side. I'm not going to sugarcoat what I believe is right and wrong. And I'm not going to just hang around people and ignore my values because I don't want to come off as offensive. It's just understanding how to negotiate those, maneuver those waters, kind of. And not to be so darn argumentative about things. And just try to, I don't know, be a human to another human being for a little bit. Which is a very, I don't like to say that because I don't know, I don't like being very like emotional with my words. I like to be tactile and like intellectual. But man, sometimes you can just make so much more progress talking like you're a person to another person and not talking to someone who's on the other team, right?
Yeah.
I guess this transcends the alphabet topic and more of just everything. I mean, it's pretty big in politics too, but
Yeah, it's making me think about that discussion I had also on Instagram recently.
yeah,
I thought that
that's true.
when you started this whole thing, you were like, recently I had a discussion on Instagram with a friend. I thought you were going to tell the entire story of my experience as if it was yours.
No,
I thought that, I was like,
those are also two vastly different topics.
yeah, they are. I was like, this is interesting. But yeah, no, I had a similar experience, but where by the end of it, I kind of questioned myself a little bit, but then I told you what I said. And I knew that I was very sure that your response to what I had said was going to be like, I don't like that. And then you immediately said, I don't like that. And I had to explain myself why I said what I said. But it's because when I ended the discussion, it was like, I told the person that, you know, I'm perfectly fine knowing that you and I completely disagree on this.
Yeah, I'm not fine that you believe this. I'm just fine knowing it. Like I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm not fine that that someone I love, a friend of mine, believes something that is dangerous.
Yeah.
But I'm fine knowing that we disagree on the topic at hand. I'm fine knowing that that they are of the other opinion, because I know that trying to tell them why, because the discussion started off with that, like the little bit back and forth of you're wrong and this is why, and I'm right, and then I'm wrong, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I ended it by just saying that, you know, if you believe that to be true, then that means you need to hold yourself consistent in every aspect of that, right? Because with what they were talking about, it had some of the discussion was from the Roe v. Wade thing and everything, but what they were saying had really dangerous ramifications in a bunch of other avenues. And I was like, that means, hey, man, I love you. I'm perfectly fine knowing that you think differently than me, but be consistent then, and understand when you say these things, exactly what it means. Right. But no, we don't have to talk about that. But,
and I know I didn't like radically change this person's worldview, but I did. I can see that through the way I handled the communication, it's a vastly different situation. I know I'm not cut off from this person, like the person I previously knew. And I know if there's ever a question, I know that like they could ask me it.
That was my purpose too.
And I'm pretty sure they'd be comfortable asking me it, which is what I want.
That was my purpose behind what I had left. The conversation I had with at the end was like, my intention is, I know that if we get back and forth going, because as soon as I said anything about what he was saying and said why it was wrong, he got really defensive and started being kind of offensive.
Yeah.
I went, okay, this is obvious. This is the kind of stuff that ends friendships, relationships of any kind. And before I know it, he's going to block me on social media. And that's the only way I even can talk to him, because I think he lives in like Cancun now or something, you know? So like, my intention was like, okay, well, I need to leave this in a way so that at the very least the channel of communication is still open, because who knows, maybe years down the road he's going to go, hey, I remember this conversation we had and I was thinking differently on this topic, and like you said, I want to make sure he's able to talk to me about it. But especially because I know at least at one point he was a very outspoken Christian.
Yeah, and that can be rough.
Yeah, and I would like to see him that way again. But
yeah, I'm not good at floating topics out there in my introduction of them. But all this was to say, at least from my perspective, I'm guilty of being too analytical when I'm talking to people and not understanding that even if they're wrong, right? If I want them to see the truth, I'm trying to make this sound as the least amount like narcissistic it can. That's not my intention. But if I want them to see the truth, I have to navigate in a way that at least is intentional and is less analytical and a little bit more human. And I'm not perfect at it, but I'm getting a little bit better. And I think everyone could kind of think about that a bit more.
yeah, pray about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we focus on winning the argument and not winning the soul.
Oh, yeah. I'm really good at winning an argument, I think.
Yeah.
But not very good at actually talking to a person.
Yeah.
Getting them to understand why I think something and not just what I think.
Me too.
But this wasn't meant to be super like gloomy ending, because it was a really good ending for me, at least. I'm at least in this person's life so that I know if they have a question, they can reach out to me. And that feels good. But that's not why I do it, because it feels good. I do it because it's right.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So at the end of this, is that what we want to leave people with then? What you just said?
Just be a little bit more human. Yeah.
Yeah, don't be so much of a robot, people.
Yeah. Try a little bit more to make people understand not what you believe, but why you believe it. And maybe they'll start to believe it.
No, I think that's a really important way of looking at it. It's really easy to boil everything down to exactly like the factual statements of what you believe rather than the reasons why you believe it too.
Yeah.
And I think that not often enough we share why we believe things and instead just share exactly what it is that we believe, which is important, right? If you believe something, you should be sharing it, because if you believe something to be true, well, it has to be important to you.
Yeah.
But why you believe it is also very, very important.
Because too often, people that just get told, hey, this is what the Bible says, and this is, they're like, oh, you're just indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But having the why aspect of the conversation helps to dispel that kind of, what's the word? Like
the misconception
notion?
Yeah, misconception. Because I almost just said indoctrination of their own, which it pretty much has become.
Yeah. And I've been not guilty of that, but just having beliefs, but having no way of backing them up. And I'm not saying you have to have a defense for every single thing you believe. Like, you don't have to always be on edge, but you should certainly know why you believe what you believe.
Yes. And be prepared to talk about it. I mean, personal testimony is super, super important.
And don't make up stuff. Because
That's rough.
you need to have an answer in every conversation.
Yeah.
Don't make up stuff.
Yeah.
No.
It causes way more problems.
Way more problems.
Find temporary comfort in not knowing.
Yes. And then seek the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Temporary.
Report back the
comfort.
answer. Don't just sit with some made up thing that you just pulled out of your
Letting
butt.
that linger in the air.
This kind of sounds like it makes sense, so I'm betting it's true.
I'm betting it's true.
Yeah. Don't climb on those branches. They're often very,
Yeah.
very frail.
Yeah, that's true.
And it can ruin that person's outlook.
Yeah. You also hurt that person by telling
Yeah,
them.
you hurt the possibility of them understanding too, because then if and when they find out what that was, usually that's what they will hold on to from the discussion. It was that, oh, you lied to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which you did. So, yeah, not fruitful in any way. Well, cool. I mean, we're a little over an hour here, but was there anything else we want to talk about on this one? Are we prepared to get out of this sweaty?
We can talk about how you walked in on me in the bathroom.
Nah.
No?
Accidents happen. And
All right.
There was a part
just
of
because you
this
look like
that
a goblin doesn't matter.
I was going to
You
add
know,
on,
I was full
but I think
goblin.
it'd probably add like another half hour, so we can save that for
Sitting like a
All right.
gargoyle.
another podcast.
Well, that's good. We have something to bring to another one. So the next time we're like, what are we going to talk about this week? Levi, go. I have half an hour of a discussion banked. I'm going to write that down. Levi.
Gosh darn. I shouldn't have said anything
Levi
at all.
has
Next episode is
30 minutes.
Half of its contents are just Levi ranting. And
30
we'll go,
minutes
uh-huh.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Exclamation point, exclamation point,
Slay.
exclamation point.
Queen.
Big circle, arrow to the next page. And then on the next page, I'm going to write see last page. There we go. All right. So next week, we got something. Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody. We love you very much.
Roll that outro.
You got it.
Outro. It's the end.
I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
That's a good one.